internet, my name is Lave and I watched a preview screening of Alita Battle Angel, which is directed by Robert Sin City Rodriguez and is produced by James Avatar Cameron, who co-wrote the script, adapting it from the Japanese manga series, which I can't pronounce and haven't seen. Set in the 26th century, 300 years after a devastating war, humans and cyborgs alike scavenge a living in Iron City, a dumping ground for the elite living in the last floating city called Salem. One day, a compassionate doctor finds and rebuilds a cyborg girl who goes on a journey of discovery which upsets the establishment and changes the world forever. Just to reiterate, I haven't read any of the source material or seen any previous incarnation of this story, so I am a complete newbie to this world, and the film does the tried and tested trope of introducing us to this world through the eyes of its protagonist, who conveniently has amnesia. So a large part of the film is spent with Alita saying, "Where am I? Who am I? What is that?" with characters explaining to her what is what, which is to be expected for an origin story to a certain degree, but it keeps happening an hour and a half into the film, and I think some of the exposition could have been delivered a little bit more organically. But fortunately, the world it is introducing us to has been well realised. It feels lived in, with a history and infrastructure, with cities built upon older cities, and it blends live action sets with massive CG environments which look particularly good in 3D. It's definitely got that immersive, otherworldly feeling of Avatar. The visual effects in general are astounding. The film promises big spectacle and it delivers big time. The only worry I had going into the film was the over-exaggerated enlarged eyes of Alita, but there's nothing to worry about. Somehow they've made it work. One of the opening shots of the film is seeing Alita open her eyes for the first time, and it looks seamless, it looks great. And Rosa Salazar delivers a great performance as a wide-eyed, innocent, naive girl at first, but then she comes of age as she goes on her journey of discovery, and she lives up to her title of a battle angel. She kicks butt. She's awesome. What I really love about the action fight sequences is that it isn't over reliant on slow-mo. You do get one or two shots, but for the most part you see it all happen in real time, so you get a real sense of speed and power. They really pack a punch, and it's some of the best action fight sequences I've seen for a long time. As I said, the film is a sci-fi coming-of-age movie, and it is nice to see Christoph Waltz playing a more paternal role for a change as her surrogate father, and you've also got a romance story in there with Keean Johnson playing Hugo, a human boy she falls in love with. And that side of the film is a bit hokey, with moments like Alita giving her heart to Hugo literally, and there are plenty of other little moments which made me giggle, which I probably shouldn't have been giggling at, like her fighting style. They call it Panther Kunst or something. I don't know what it is about that just made me giggle. Panther Kunst. And there's also a moment later on in the film when you see a brain removed from its head with the eyes in a box in floating water, which may be a callback to the manga series, but it looked cheesy as hell in this film. The film has got a 12A rating, and it does push the age rating to its limits at times with some blood and gore and gratuitous violence, but it does feel like Robert Rodriguez is on a leash. It feels like he hasn't been allowed to fully unleash what he really wanted to do. I wanted it to be more like Sin City and less like Titanic. On top of that, you've got Jennifer Connelly as Chiron, one of the antagonists, with an interesting backstory which perhaps isn't explored to its full potential. She's working with Mahershala Ali's character called Vector, who doesn't get as much screen time as I was hoping for. But then the film is trying to cram a lot into its 2-hour runtime. I haven't even mentioned Ed Skrein's character, who's a bounty hunter amongst a whole host of other bounty hunters called Hunter Warriors. There's a black market economy with cybernetic organs being stripped and sold, which all revolves around this sport which they play called motorball, which is another spectacular action set piece. So perhaps there is an argument in there to say that the film could have benefited from being maybe 2.5 hours long. I think there is enough spectacle and enough razzmatazz in there to justify it. Having said that though, it still left me wanting more, and it does leave it open for a sequel, and I would go and see that sequel. So that's my thoughts on Alita Battle Angel, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. I thought this was a great popcorn flick and a decent manga adaptation, which, as I say, I'm not well versed in. When I think of manga, I think of Ghost in the Shell, which already has been adapted, and I also think of Akira, which I would love to see adapted into a live action film with a Japanese cast, because I think we've got the tech to do it now, and I think if this film does well enough, I think it might open the door to finally get this made. That would be amazing. It's got to be rated 18 as well. So thanks very much for watching this review. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought down in the comments, and if you know of any other manga films which you think I should watch, let me know down in the comments. And as always, thanks very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like, and don't forget to share the Lave. Plant the coons. Subscribe.